this initiative? I'm going to give you in the very barest outlines my view of what it is, and then you will follow up undoubtedly with questions which I will attempt to answer. We're into pillars. The Merit Initiative was four pillars. There are 7 countries in Central America, so they deserve at least 5 pillars. Here are the 5 that I suggest constitute the core of this initiative, this approach, this policy, this strategy. Call it what you wish. First, for want of a better term, safe streets. What does this mean? This means if a mother is terrified of allowing her children to go out and play outside the home, you obviously have a community security problem. And you have to solve that problem at the retail level. How can you give a community, a small society, sufficient confidence in their security that they feel comfortable playing, living, working in their own neighborhoods and in their own communities? Second, disrupt the traffickers. I have suggested to you one of the 2 core threats to the institutions and to the states of Central America are the trafficking organizations. There must be an element that attacks them directly, whether it's interdiction, whether it's strengthened borders, whether it is eliminating or at least reducing their ability to launder money or transact financial crimes. There must be an element that attacks the organizations themselves. Third is strong and accountable governments. This, in many ways, is what we refer to and have for 30 years, institution building. And the institutions, ladies and gentlemen, are not just law enforcement, although clearly they are a key component to it. It's also corrections and prosecutors. It's courts. It is all the institutions that constitute the rule of law continuum in any country, any society, any country, community around the world. And in essence, the objective is to make each of those institutions sufficiently strong, transparent, and accountable that they not only can do their job, but that they have the respect and the support of the communities and societies that they serve. Fourth is strong communities. Strong communities moves us into what is the traditional economic and social development sphere. This is what development agencies do. They do employment generation and business generation. They build basic public services that makes them function. They support education systems and healthcare systems that provide a community a core and the community's citizens a stake in the future of their own community, a desire to actually make the institutions work because they see a future for themselves and their families in that community. And the 5th pillar I suggest to you, required by the circumstances that we deal with in terms of resources, is enhance cooperation. Cooperation internally, by which I mean the 7 governments of Central America, their own institutions and capabilities to work among themselves to address this regional threat, but also cooperation in the external sense, cooperation among potential donors, governments, organizations, and NGOs to support the strategy, the policy, the initiative, the effort in Central America. Ladies and gentlemen, I conclude with a sobering observation for you. We have thought for the last 11 years or so that the big initiatives that we have been working in this hemisphere, Plan Colombia, which I used January of 2000 as the kickoff date, although the truth of the matter is we were working fairly aggressively with the government of Colombia since 1999. The Merida Initiative of 2007, we regard these as being complicated but also models for how to cooperate in a multilateral way to address multilateral threats. I submit to you that Central America, despite the fact that we are dealing with states that are smaller in terms of population and geography, Central America in a very real way is more complicated than Plan Colombia, more complicated than the Merida Initiative, because we have 7 different governments and societies and communities, each of whom have hundreds of years of history, hundreds of years of developing their own mindset, their own attitudes among themselves and between themselves and their neighbors, and we must work in a way that links them all together in a positive way. We will make mistakes. Please make sure you've got that on record. Brownfield acknowledges we will make mistakes. There will be missteps. We will learn from those mistakes and missteps. It would not surprise me at all if I were to learn from some of those from you this very same morning. I will listen carefully. I actually believe it is possible to learn from your mistakes. But one mistake we don't need to make. We do not need to learn a lesson that we already know. We cannot, here in the United States of America, ignore what is happening in Central America today. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the decision is very, very simple. If we ignore these threats, these problems, and these crises in Central America today, we will address them on our own front porches tomorrow. And with that sobering thought, I thank you, Dr. Farnsworth. I turn this back over to you. Thank you very much.